A very good morning, students. Today we are going to study class 11th English chapter 7 Birth. This is written by A.J. Cronin. Let us see the brief introduction of this chapter. Birth is an excerpt from the Citadel that revolves around Andrew Manson, who just graduated out of medical college. It is an account of how the newly graduated medical practitioner had been bringing Joe and Susan's child into this world despite going through a tough time with this girlfriend, Kristen. Let us see the explanation. Though it was nearly midnight when Andrew reached Bryangover, he found the Morgan waiting for him, walking up and down with short steps between the closed surgery and the entrance to the house. At the sight of him, the burly driller's face expressed relief. Surgery is a place where a doctor, dentist, or other medical practitioners treats and or advises patients. Bully means a person large and strong, heavily built. Driller means someone who works at the drilling controls on the rig floor. When Andrew reached his house at around 12 at night, he caught the sight of Joe Morgan climbed up and then down the stairs between his small clinic and the entrance to his house. On seeing Andrew, the heavily built driller, Joe heaved a sigh of relief. Hey doctor, I'm glad to see you. I've been back and forward here this last hour. The missus want ye before time too. Andrew abruptly recalled from the contemplation of his own affairs. Told Morgan to wait. He went into the house for his bag. Then together they set out for number 12 Blenna Terrace. The night air was cool and deep with quiet mystery, usually so perspective. Andrew now felt dull and listless. He had no premonition that this night call would prove unusual, still less that it would influence his whole future in Blenheim. The two men walked in silence until they reached the door of number 12. Then Joe drew up short. I will not come in, he said, and his voice showed sign of strain. But man, I know you will do well for us. Abruptly means suddenly and unexpectedly. Perspective means having or showing sensitive insight. Listless, lacking energy or enthusiasm. Premonition, a strong feeling that something is about to happen, especially something unpleasant. Joe Morgan expressed how pleased he was to see Dr. Andrew. He tells Andrew how he has been waiting there for him for about an hour now. Joe's wife needs Andrew to examine her even before the time of her child's birth. She is in a critical situation. On hearing this, Andrew had a sudden flashback of the unpleasant night he had with his girlfriend Christine, but without wasting further time, he told Joe to wait outside while he got his bag. When he came out, they both began walking towards number 12 Blenna Terrace, where Joe's wife was. It was a cool night and the streets were silent, which made it mysterious. Andrew, who generally is full of life and spirit, was silent and lacked energy. Andrew had no idea what the night had in store for him and that it was going to influence his life in Blenheim. They both walked silently till they reached number 12. As soon as they reached, Joe revealed to Andrew that he does not intend on coming in, but he showed full confidence in Andrew. Joe's voice was tense and under pressure. Inside, a narrow stair led up to a small bedroom, clean but poorly furnished and lit only by an oil lamp. Here, Mrs. Morgan's mother, a tall, grey-haired woman of nearly 70, and the stout, elderly midwife waited beside the patient, watching Andrew's expression as he moved about the room. Stout means rather fat or heavy built. Midwife is a person, typically a woman, who is trained to assist women in childbirth. And Andrew entered the gate alone. He took the stairs, which were of rather small width, and reached a bedroom. The bedroom was not lavish or luxurious, but it was neat. Inside the room were Joe Morgan's mother in law, a woman of around 70 with larger than the average height and the grey hair, along with a plump midwife to assist the childbirth. The midwife was also of an elderly age. They both sat beside Mrs. Morgan's, waiting for Andrew. Let me make you a cup of tea, Dr. Batch said the former quickly after a few moments. Andrew smiled faintly. He saw that the old woman, wise in experience, realized there must be a period of waiting, that she was afraid he would leave the case, saying he would return later. Don't fret, mother, I will not run away. Page means used as a term of endearment often after a personal name. Sahab, you can say. Smiled faintly, smiling with less energy, or a smile that lacks spirit. Fret, be constantly or visibly anxious, worry. The sweet old lady, Mrs. Morgan's mother, offered Andrew a cup of tea. She addressed Andrew as Bech, which is used while displaying affection, just like Dr. Sahab. Dr. Bech, she said, realizing that the old lady might be worried about him leaving during the waiting period, he gave her a gentle smile and comforted her by assuring that he will not go away. The fact that she anticipated the period of waiting, was worried about him running away, made Andrew realize that she was wise and had plenty of exercise. Down in the kitchen, he drank the tea, which gave him overwrought as he was. He knew he could not snatch even an hour's sleep if he went home. He knew too that the case here would demand all his attention. A queer lethargy of spirit came upon him. He decided to remain until everything was over. Overwrought means in a state of anxiety, tiredness. Snatch, manage to take. Queer means strange, odd. Lethargy means lack of energy and enthusiasm. He sipped the tea in the kitchen downstairs, though he was mentally and physically exhausted because of the unpleasant meeting with Christine. He knew it was impossible for him to even get an hour's worth of sleep if he went home. Although now in his line and practice he was aware that the situation was critical and called for his attentiveness, strangely he felt a bit active and decided to stay at the place till his duty was fulfilled. An hour later, he went upstairs again, noted the progress made, came down once more, sat by the kitchen fire. It was still, except for the rustle of a cinder in the grate and the slow tick-tock of the wall clock. No, there was another sound. The beat of Morgan's footsteps as he paced in the street outside. The old woman opposite him sat in her black dress, quite motionless, her eyes strangely alive and wise, probing, never leaving his pace. Rustle means make a soft, muffled cracking sound. Cinder, a small piece of partly burnt coal or wood that was stopped giving off flames, but still was combustible matter in it. Probing means inquiring closely. He went upstairs after almost an hour to check upon Mrs. Morgan. He sat near the kitchen fire upon coming back. It was that time of the night where everything was still. The only sounds that came was of ticking clock, George's footsteps from the outside, and from the almost extinguished piece of coal. While he sat in the kitchen, Mrs. Morgan's mother sat in front of him, wearing her black dress. She looked at him constantly with her wise eyes that were filled with hope. His thoughts were heavy, muddled. The episode he had witnessed at Cardiff station still obsessed him morbidly. He thought of Bramwell foolishly devoted to a woman who deceived him sordidly, of Edward Page, bound to the shrewish blood when of Danny living unhappily apart from his wife. His reason told him that all these marriages were dismal failures. It was a conclusion which, in his present state, made him wince. He wished to consider marriage as an idyllic state, yes, he could not otherwise consider it with the image of Christine before him. Muddled means not arranged in order, untidy. Morbidity means to a disturbing or unpleasant interest or activity in an abnormal and unhealthy manner. Sordidly means mainly selfish, self seeking. Shrewish means bad tempered or aggressive, assertive. Dismal causing a mood of gloom or depression. Wince make a slight involuntary grimace or shrinking movement of the body out of pain or distress. Idyllic means like a ideal, extremely happy, peaceful or pictures. Clearly, the earlier unpleasant moments with Christian had taken a toll on his mind. He was still being haunted by the incident that took place at Cardiff station. He began thinking of his friend and acquaintances who have had bad experience in love and marriage. He thought of Bramwell, the woman he loved had cheated on him. He contemplated upon the relationship of Edward Page, who was committed to a dominating woman named Blodwen. He reflected upon how Dan is living away from his eyes, not so happy. Her eyes shining towards him admitted no other conclusion. It was the conflict between his level, doubting mind and his overflowing heart which left him resentful and confused. He let his chin sink upon his chest, stretched out his legs, started broodingly into the fire. He remained like this so long, and his thoughts were so filled with Christine that he started when the old woman opposite suddenly addressed him. Her meditation has pursued a different course. Resentful feeling or expressing bitterness or indignation at having been treated unfairly. Broodingly means preoccupied with depressing, morbid, or painful memories or thought. All of this brought him to an inference that made him cringe. He wished to believe that the institution of marriage was a cheerful one that guaranteed peace and companionship. He also had no other reason to believe otherwise with Christine's shining eyes in his mind. He was undoubtedly facing a conflict with all his mind, heart and soul in disagreement. He thus rested his chin on his chest and pulled out his legs while he glanced at the fireplace. He sat still for a few moments. His mind was still preoccupied with Christine until the old lady broke her silence. She was thinking about something else. Susan said not to give her the chloroform if it would harm the baby. She is awful set upon this child, Dr. Bates. Her old eyes warmed at a sudden thought. She added in a low tone, we all are, I fancy. He collected himself with an effort. It won't do any harm, the anesthetic, he said kindly, they will be all right. Awful means very. The old lady tells the doctor how worried Susan was on account of this complicated situation. He even refused to have anesthesia if it were to affect the baby. She told him how invested she was in the child. The old lady corrects herself and says that all of them are invested in the child. Her eyes were filled with warmth While she said this, the doctor, preoccupied with another set of worries, somehow cleared his mind and assured the old lady that the anesthetic would do no harm to either of them. Anesthetic means pain reliever tablets. Here the nurse's voice was heard, calling from the top landing. Andrew glanced at the clock, which now showed 3:30. He rose and went up to the bedroom. He perceived that he might now begin his work. Suddenly, they heard the voice of the midwife calling upon them. Andrew saw that it is already 3:30 and that he shall begin his procedure. Thus he got up to go to the bedroom upstairs. An hour elapsed. It was a long, harsh struggle. Then, as the first streak of dawn strayed past the broken edges of the blind, the child was born lifeless. As he gazed at the still form, from a shiver of horror passed over Andrew. After all that he had promised, his face heated with his own exertions, chilled suddenly. He hesitated, torn between his desire to attempt to resuscitate, resuscitate the child and his obligation towards the mother, who was herself in a desperate state. The dilemma was so urgent he did not solve it consciously. Blind is a screen for a window, especially one on a roller or made of slates. Resuscitate means revive someone from the unconsciousness. It took him almost an hour to perform the surgery. It was a rather tough one. While the first rays of daylight came inside from the corner of the window, the Morgan child was born. Unfortunately, the child was cold and lifeless. As he continued to look at the lifeless child, a shiver passed down his spine. While his face was heated because of the efforts he put in, a wave of coldness held him. He was destroyed. Moreover, he was confused. He couldn't get himself to choose between addressing the stillborn or the miserable mother. He couldn't make the decision consciously. Blindly, instinctively, he gave the child to the nurse and turned his attention to Susan Morgan, who now lay collapsed, almost pulseless, and not yet out of the ether. Upon her side, his haste was desperate, a frantic race against her ebbing strength. It took him only an instant to smash a glass ampule and inject the medicine. Then he flung down the hypodermic syringe and worked unsparingly to restore the flaccid woman. After a few minutes of feverish effort, her heart strengthened. He saw that he might safely leave her. He swung round in his shirt sleeves, his hair sticking to his damp frock. Resuscitate means revive someone from the unconsciousness. Either means used as an anesthetic. Haste, excessive speed or urgency of movement or action, hurry, frantic, conducted in a hurried, excited and disorganized way. Ebbing, gradually decrease. This is about motion or quality. Hypodermic, related to the region immediately beneath the skin. Unsparingly generous. Flaccid means lifeless. So he intuitively addressed the mother first, while giving means he wanted to save the mother first. While giving the child to the nurse, Susan laid unconscious too, as the effects of anesthesia still persisted. He put in all his efforts to bring her out of the desperate state while her strength continued to weaken. He instantly broke the medicine's glass to fill the syringe and inject it into her. He worked tirelessly to bring her to her senses. After a moment, when he was assured that she was safe and her body was beginning to regain its strength, he turned his attention to the child. His hair was all over his sweaty face. but he did not waste another moment. Where is the child? The midwife made a frightened gesture. She had placed it beneath the bed. In a flash, Andrew knelt down, fishing amongst the sodden newspapers below the bed. He pulled out the child, a boy perfectly formed. The limp, warm body was white and soft as a tallow. The cord hastily slashed lay like a broken stem. The skin was so of a lovely texture, smooth and tender. The head lolled on the thin neck, the limbs seemed boneless. Andrew has Sodden means saturated with liquid, especially water soaked through. Tallow, the hard fat of an animal melted and used to make soap, candles, etc. means जानवरों की चर्बी. Hastily means with excessive speed or urgency, hurriedly. Means जल्दबाजी से. Slashed means slit. Lolled means hang loosely. Just like dog की जो जीभ होती है वो लटकती रहती है उसे लोल्ड बोलते हैं. Andrew hastened and asked the midwife about the child. The midwife got anxious and asked him where the child was. She had kept it under the bed. Without wasting another moment, Andrew took the child out. It was a boy in perfect shape and with flawless skin. His body was warm and his skin was extremely soft. The head hung loosely on his weak neck and the cord was hanging too. But his body, his limbs felt boneless because the bones were so soft. Still kneeling, Andrew stared at the child with a haggard frown. The witness meant only one thing: asphyxia, pallida, and his mind unnaturally tense. Raced back to a case he once had seen in the Samaritan, to the treatment that had been used. Instantly he was on his feet. Get me hot water and cold water. He threw out to the nurse and basins too. Quick, quick. But doctor, he faltered, her eyes on the pallid body of the child. Quick, he shouted. Haggard means looking exhausted and unwell, especially from fatigue, worry, or suffering. Asphyxia, a condition arising when the body is deprived of oxygen, causing unconsciousness or death, suffocation. Pallida means suffocation or unconscious condition caused by lack of oxygen and excess of carbon dioxide in the blood, accompanied by paleness of the skin, weak pulse, and loss of reflexes. Faltered means lose strength or momentum. Pallid means of a person's face pale, typically because of poor health, means yellow colored face. Still bent to take the child out from beneath the bed, Andrew glared at the child. He observed him and thought about the reason he was so white. He knew it could only be a case of oxygen deprivation because he had seen a similar case in Samaritan. He focused on the treatment that was used. He instantly stood up and instructed the nurse to bring in hot water and cold water in separate tubes. The nurse hesitated because for the moment she thought the efforts were useless, but the doctor hastened and shouted on her to get it done instantly. Snatching a blanket, he laid the child upon it and began the special method of respiration. The basins arrived, the big iron kettle. Frantically, he splashed cold water into one basin, into the other. He mixed water as hot as his hand could bear. Then, like some crazy juggler, he hurried the child between the two, now plunging it into the icy, now into the steaming bath. Ewer means a large jug with a wide mouth formerly used for carrying water. Plunging means falling steeply. While he had gone to take what he told her to, Andrew grabbed a blanket and laid the child on it while he performed the unique respiration method. The nurse arrived with the necessary items and he began with the procedure instantly. In one basin, he put cold water alone, and in the other, he put hot water at the temperature he could bear. The next moment, he was seen dipping the child in those basins. One after another, he continued doing it. 15 minutes passed. Sweat was now running into Andrew's eye, blinding him. One of his sleeves hung down, dipping His breath came pantingly, but no breath came from the lax body of the child. He did the procedure for about 15 minutes. He was extremely tired and filled with sweat, so much that it blinded him. One of his sleeves got unfolded and wet with water. He breathed heavily. Despite all his efforts, the child still lay lifeless. A desperate sense of defeat passed on him, a raging hopelessness. He felt the midwife watching him in stark consternation, while they are pressed back against the wall where he had all the time remained. Her hand pressed to her throat, uttering no sound, her eyes burning upon him, was the old woman. He remembered her longing for a grandchild as great as had been her daughter's longing for this child, all dashed away now, futile beyond remedy. Start means complete consternation, a feeling of anxiety or dismay, typically at something unexcited. He felt that he had failed, and suddenly all his hope was beginning to fade. He could feel the nurse gazing upon him, disheartened. On the other hand, there was the old woman who couldn't utter a word. Her eyes were constantly fixed upon him. He instantly remembered how badly he wanted a grandchild. Moreover, he remembered how her daughter was waiting for one. It was all a waste now. The floor was now drizzled mesh, stumbling over a stopping tall. Andrew almost dropped the child, which was now wet and slippery in his hands like a strange white fish. For mercy's sake, good doctor, whimpered the midwife, it is stillborn. Drizzled means drifty or wet, typically from being trailed through mud or water, stumbling, tripping, or losing balance while walking, moving with difficulty. Sopping means saturated with liquid wet through. Whimpered, say something in a low, feeble voice that expresses fear, pain, or unhappiness. After the continued struggle, the floor was extremely wet and dirty. The doctor almost slipped on the towel, and he was just about to lose hold of the child. The child was so wet and he is being compared to a white fish. The midwife then pleaded before the doctor and told him to stop as the child has been dead. And then, as by a miracle, the pygmy chest which his hands unclosed gave a short convulsive heave, another and another. Andrew turned giddy. The sense of life springing beneath his fingers after all that unraveling striving was so exquisite it almost made him faint. He redoubled his efforts fervently. The child was gasping now, deeper and deeper. A bubble of mucus came from one tiny nostril, a joyful, indecent bubble. The limbs were no longer boneless. The head no longer lay back spinelessly. The balanced skin was slowly turning pink. Then exquisitely came the child's cry. Pygmy means little. Convulsive means violent, uncontrollable. He means produce a shy. Giddy means weak. Unraveling. Unavailing means achieving little. Uh, Iridescent means showing luminous colors that seem to change when seen from different angles. Just as it was a miracle, the little chest which was unclosed in Andrew's hands took a breath. He continued a heaving, leaving Andrew weak in his knees. The feeling of the little one's breathing on his fingers almost made him faint. Instantly, he worked on reviving him with the double efforts until the child breathed deeply. As he gasped, a bubble formed by the mucus was formed from his tiny nose. His pale skin turned pink and the body no longer felt like it was lifeless. The next instant, he started crying. Dear Father in heaven, the nurse sobbed hysterically. It has come alive. Andrew handed her the child. He felt weak and dazed. About him, the room lay in a shuddering litter blanket, towels, basins, soiled instruments, the hypodermic syringe spalled by its point in the millennium. The ewer knocked over, the kettle on his side in a puddle of water. Upon the huddled bed, the mother still dreamed her way quietly through the anesthetic. The old woman still stood against the wall, but her hands were together, her lips moved without sound. She was praying. The nurse muttered the words of prayer while tears rolled down her eyes. As Andrew handed her the child, he felt extremely weak and tired. The room was obviously a mess by this time. All the equipment, including blankets, towels, basins, soiled instruments, the hypodermic syringe, the ewer, and the kettle, were all in the terrible state. The mother lay still on the bed. The anesthesia still had its effect. Susan's mother stood still in one place, constantly moving her lips in prayer. Mechanically, Andrew wrung out his sleeve, pulled on his jacket. I'll fetch my bag later, nurse. He went downstairs, through the kitchen into the scullery. His lips were dry. At the scullery, he took a long drink of water. He reached for his hat and coat. Outside, he found Joe standing on the pavement with a tense, expectant face. All right, Joe, he said thickly. Both all right. It was quite light, nearby 5 o'clock. A few miners were already in the streets. The first of the night shift moving out. As Andrew walked with them, spent and slow, his footfalls echoing with the others under the morning sky, he kept thinking blindly, oblivious to all other work he had done in Blenley. I have done something. Oh God, I have done something real at last. Seculary means a small kitchen or room at the back of the house used for washing dishes and other dirty household work. Andrew unfolded his sleeve and put on his jacket while informing the nurse that he will take his bag later. He then went into a small room through the kitchen downstairs and grabbed a large glass of water. He took his coat and hat and headed outside. He met Joe outside and told him that everything was fine. It was around 5 in the morning and there was not much light. While walking towards his home, he was accompanied by a few miners who had just completed their night shift. As their footsteps echoed, he had only one thing in mind. His heart was full of the thoughts that he finally accomplished something. This is all, students, and this is the effort of the doctor who saved the mother as well as the child. And it was the result of his hard work, determination, and willpower, and his efforts to do something. This is all. I hope you all have understood. Thank you for watching the video.